What's up, homies? Welcome back to Gunsmith Part 4. I know it's pretty late in the white for this series, but I wanted to make it for new players and low-level players who may not have done the task before. If the video's still relevant next wipe, we'll leave it up. If not, I'll make a new video. No big deal, right? But you guys didn't come here to hear me talk, so let's get into the build. For Gunsmith Part 4, your objectives are to modify an OP-SKS to comply with the given specifications, and these right here are your rewards. We're not going to go through those. For this SKS, you need a silencer, an optic scope, a 20-round or larger magazine, ergonomics over 35, and a recoil sum of no more than 350. This should be pretty simple. However, I've got a disclaimer. I highly recommend that you have Skier Level 3 unlocked or you are very familiar with scav loot runs before you attempt this task. If you're level 15 and you already have the flea market unlocked, that can work as well. Without one of these options, some of these parts are going to be really hard to find and you're going to have a tough time doing the build. Now let's talk about getting the gun. Jaeger Level 1 sells the OP-SKS and it's 33,000 rubles. Mechanic Level 2 also has a barter trade for 3 weapons parts. This is going to be a different variant of the OP-SKS and you're not going to use most of the parts, but you can sell them to recoup some of your money. So if you've got 3 weapons parts laying around, this might be a good option for you. You also receive an OP-SKS as a reward for one of your early level tasks. It's called What's on the Flash Drive. This is the task where you have to find 2 flash drives in raid and turn them in. Pretty easy task. You get an OP-SKS for that and the 20-round magazines that you need and the sound suppressor that you need. And this reward right here is honestly the easiest way to complete this gunsmith build because most of it's done for you. No matter how you choose to get the gun, the build's going to be the same. So let's get into that. First off, we're going to need a 20-round magazine, and that's going to be this one right here, this SKS-A5. I'll do a little inspect here just so you guys can see. Pretty simple. Now there's 2 ways you're going to be able to buy this magazine. At Peacekeeper Level 1, you can buy this magazine for $74 US. There's also a Skier Level 1 barter trade, and that's going to be 1 chainlet. Chainlets are pretty easy to find on loot runs, and you shouldn't have too much of a problem with this barter. Next, we're going to need the scope, and the scope you're going to want to use is this USP-1. Again, I'll inspect this so that you guys can see which one I'm talking about. It's the NPZ USP-1 Tilepan 4X scope. I don't know. This is the one you need. The only way you're going to be able to buy this is Prapor Level 1, and it's right here. It's 15,805 rubles. Next, you're going to need the TAPCO Intrafuse Chassis. It's going to be this one here. You can get this chassis in 2 ways for Mechanic Level 1. You can buy it for 9,693 rubles, or you can barter it for 1 CPU. If you're having a hard time buying it, the barter trade is super simple to find. Just loot some PCs and you should be able to find a CPU pretty quickly. Next on the build, you're going to need the buffer tube, and it's going to be this SKS TAPCO buffer tube. It should be the only one you're even able to install on this chassis. I'll do a little inspect here so you guys can just make sure that this is the buffer tube that you need. You can buy this buffer tube from Mechanic Level 1, and it's going to be 2,000 rubles. After your buffer tube, we're going to need a pistol grip, and it's going to be the SAW SKS. It's actually got a different name. It's called the SKS TAPCO Intrafuse SAW Style Pistol Grip. And like the other parts, you're going to be able to get this from Mechanic Level 1, and it's going to be 4,000 rubles. For the rear stock, we're going with this M4SS rear stock. It's the high standard M4SS stock. And you'll be able to buy this stock from Peacekeeper Level 1 for only $29 US. Now let's talk about the suppressor. This is where the build gets a little bit complicated. There's 2 options for suppressors and both will work for the task. Option number 1 is going to be this Hexagon SKS suppressor. I'll flip it so that you guys can see it in the light, and we'll also inspect it. You can buy the Hexagon suppressor from Skier Level 3 and it's going to be 50,000 rubles. If you don't have Skier Level 3 unlocked, you can find this suppressor pretty easily on a scav run, and a bunch of the weapon boxes and loot boxes have these suppressors in them. It shouldn't be too difficult to find. Option number 2 for a suppressor is this WT0032 thread adapter thingy majigger. Now, I'm going to inspect it just because I don't really know what to call this. It's actually called an SKS weapon tuning thread adapter. And this is going to allow you to attach this DTK-4M suppressor. I'll also inspect the suppressor so you guys can see which one it is. This is the AKM Zenit DTK-4M sound suppressor. The DTK sound suppressor is also going to come from Skier Level 3, and it's going to be 55,000 rubles. Now, this one's a little bit tougher to find on scav runs, but again, if that's what you need to do, search some weapon boxes, search some loot crates, and you shouldn't have too hard of a time finding it. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you it's easy to find. I'm going to do a little spin-a-rooski. This is the full build here, ready to turn in and complete the task. Again, if you guys get hung up on the gun, the suppressor, or the magazines, just remember you do get all of these from the reward What's on the Flash Drive. This is a very early level task, and you should have this task available or almost completed if you're this far along in the Gunsmith series. Make sure to turn that gun in, get your rewards, and continue on to Gunsmith Part 5. Speaking of Gunsmith Part 5, I'll be back in a few days with that video as well for those of you that might need help with it. If you enjoyed this video or you like content like this, maybe you like the Gunsmith series, leave a like, a subscribe, something to kind of keep up with the channel, keep up with the future videos of the channel. If there was something specifically that you liked or did not like, let me know in the comments and I'll do my best to improve it on the next one. I appreciate you guys and I'll catch you in a few days for Gunsmith Part 5. Peace out, homies.